Greetings. The name of General Ogurtsov is practically unknown in modern Russia, and even during the Soviet era, people preferred to keep silent about him. This valiant military leader, unfortunately, was a German prisoner of war, and this circumstance, as is well known, effectively put an end to careers and reputations in the post-war years, being equated with treason. However, Sergei Yakovlevich was one of the few high-ranking commanders of the Red Army who, during the most difficult period of the summer of 1941, managed not only to successfully resist the Wehrmacht's onslaught, but also to inflict significant losses on them on the Ukrainian front. At that time, his merits were duly appreciated and noted by the command. Moreover, the hero of our story today is one of only 6 Soviet generals who were fortunate enough to escape the clutches of enemy captivity and continue the fight, from the factory floor to generals' epaulets. The story of Sergei Yakovlevich Ogurtsov is a vivid example of how a man from the very bottom, thanks to his abilities and perseverance, was able to achieve high military ranks. The future general was born in 1898 in the modest village of Cheremisovo, Smolensk province. His childhood and youth were far from military romance. His education was limited to 2 grades of parochial school. As a young man, he went to Moscow in search of a better life and found work as a laborer in a factory. It seemed that his fate was predetermined, hard factory labor. But in early 1917, fate took a sharp turn. Sergei was drafted into the army. It was here that his outstanding military talents unfolded. He showed such courage and military ingenuity on the battlefields that he quickly rose to the rank of non-commissioned officer and was appointed to the position of platoon commander. After the October Revolution, the young man, without hesitating for a second, sided with the Bolsheviks. In the flames of the Civil War, he commanded a squadron, fighting against the troops of Denikin and Wrangel, tempering his character and gaining invaluable combat experience. In 1931, Ogurtsov, striving for further professional growth, successfully completed his studies at the military academy. In 1940, for his skillful leadership of the 123rd Rifle Division, which displayed exceptional valor during the breakthrough of the Mannerheim Line, Sergei was awarded the Second Order of the Red Banner and his division, the High Award of the Order of Lenin. Already in June 1940, the talented commander was awarded the rank of Major General. Soviet power undoubtedly opened up broad prospects for people from the common folk, giving them the opportunity to realize their potential. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video so you don't miss other exciting stories about World War II and learn the alternative point of view of all sides of the conflict on certain events, saving the division thanks to a bold decision. With the beginning of the Great Patriotic War, Major General Ogurtsov took command of the 10th Tank Division, stationed in the west of the Lviv region, near the small town of Radziechov. It was here, at dawn on the fateful day of June 22nd, that Soviet anti-aircraft gunners shot down a German Ju-88 bomber. The German pilots, escaping, abandoned the stricken aircraft with parachutes and were immediately taken prisoner. During a search, a secret map was found on them with detailed markings of the locations of all Red Army units along the border. This discovery was a real revelation for the Soviet command. The division commander, realizing the seriousness of the situation, immediately gave the order to announce combat alert and urgently change their location, moving to areas not marked on the captured map. Thus, the general, risking his own career, effectively violated the directive and orders of the military district headquarters regarding the division's deployment in the event of war. This was a bold and unconventional decision, which, as it turned out later, saved the division from certain destruction. Just an hour later, hordes of German Junkers and Heinkel bombers descended on the Red Army positions. German aircraft furiously bombed the barracks, turning them into ruins, plowing up with bombs the areas where the tank crews had previously been located. But all the efforts of the Luftwaffe were in vain. Thanks to the decisive order of Sergei Yakovlevich, the 10th Tank Division was saved from destruction. Hero of the summer of 1941, courage and skill in battle. On June 23rd, the day after the treacherous attack by Germany, the division was subjected to a powerful tank attack by the 48th Motorized Corps of Kleist's group. The Soviet tank crews, showing exceptional courage and skill, gave a worthy rebuff to the enemy. T-34s engaged in fierce combat and destroyed 20 enemy tanks and 16 anti-tank guns, suffering relatively small losses, 6 34s, and 15 armored cars. On July 2nd, the 10th Tank Division, acting boldly and decisively with a surprise counterattack, knocked the Germans out of Ternopil and held the city for more than a day, retreating only after receiving a direct order from the command. During the heavy fighting for Berdichev in early July, Ogurtsov headed the Kazatin Operational Group, which included the 3rd Cavalry, 8th and 10th Tank Divisions. In just one of the suburban districts of Berdichev, 50 enemy tanks were destroyed. General Kleist, accustomed to easy victories, did not expect this at all. His army group was unexpectedly delayed at Berdichev for a whole week. I think it is not necessary to explain the enormous importance of this delay at a time when every day counted. On July 22nd, the 10th Tank Division, having suffered significant losses, was sent for reorganization. By this time, more than 100 of its soldiers had been awarded orders and medals for their heroism and courage. And this was in 1941, when awards were given extremely sparingly, 65 times less often than in 1944 and 85 times less often than in the victorious 1945. The state highly valued the exploits of the tank crews, who showed resilience and skill during the most difficult days of the war. From captivity to the partisan detachment, on July 24th, Sergei Yakovlevich was appointed commander of the 49th Rifle Corps, which by that time was fighting surrounded. The 6th and 12th Armies were trapped in the Cauldron near Uman, and the breakout attempt on August 6th ended in failure. Ogurtsov managed to gather the scattered remnants of the 6th Army and lead a combined detachment, the core of which was a cavalry regiment. The general decided to break through to the northwest, to Polisi, with the goal of organizing a partisan movement there. However, on August 15th, German Rangers, pursuing the retreating Soviet troops, surrounded and defeated Ogurtsov's detachment. In the battle, the general received a severe concussion and was captured. For almost a year, the military leader was held in the Zamość prisoner of war camp. From there, in April 1942, he was transferred to the Hammelburg officer camp in Bavaria, where most of the captured Soviet generals were held. During transportation at a station near the town of Ostrowiec, an unexpected incident occurred. 8 policemen escaped. Panic and commotion ensued. Almost all the guards rushed to search for the fugitives, and the prisoners, seizing the moment, broke open the hatch in the carriage and organized an escape. Thus, thanks to a lucky coincidence, Ogurtsov managed to escape. Demonstrating his organizational skills, he managed to form a small partisan detachment from former prisoners of war. Soon, this detachment united with a larger partisan formation under the command of the Soviet officer Vasily Manjavadze. Sergei Yakovlevich, taking into account his rich experience as a cavalryman, created a mounted group within the unit and led it. The mounted group carried out daring raids on German garrisons, the partisans inflicted significant damage on the enemy, and punitive detachments were sent in response to their actions. In battle on October 28, 1942, General Ogurtsov died heroically, remaining faithful to his duty and oath to the end. Posthumous recognition of the hero's merits. In 1965, many years after his death, Sergei Yakovlevich Ogurtsov was posthumously awarded the Order of the Patriotic War, First Class. I want to conclude our story with the words of Marshal Bagramyan, dedicated to the memory of this courageous man and talented commander. The life of this glorious and bravest commander, participant in the civil and great patriotic wars, full of military exploits, ended in a heroic death on the battlefield. Thank you for your attention. I was glad to see you on our channel. Don't forget to leave comments, like, and subscribe.